Shalom, friends. Today there's a lot of discussion about the importance of the individual vis-a-vis the world. I see bumper stickers that say think globally or act globally. And this is a very interesting thought. Of course, from a spiritual perspective, this was said hundreds and hundreds of years ago and codified in Jewish law by the great Maimonides. And I'm going to take the liberty of actually reading to you a short paragraph which is incredibly profound. It's the Laws of Repentance, Tshuva, chapter 3 of Maimonides' magnum opus, the Mishnah Torah. A person throughout the year should always look at himself as equally balanced between merit and sin. And the world is equally balanced between merit and sin. If he performs one sin, he tips his balance and that of the entire world to the side of guilt and brings destruction upon himself. If, on the other hand, he performs one mitzvah, he tips his balance and that of the entire world to the side of merit and brings deliverance and salvation to himself and to others. And this is implied by the verse in Proverbs, a righteous man is the foundation of the world, meaning he who acts righteously tips the entire balance of the world to merit and saved it. Wow. Imagine the entire universe, the entire world, in fact, the entire cosmos is dependent on little me. A thought, a speech, an action can change it for the better. Actually, this firm belief that one good deed, and it's not even only in action, even in speech and thought, but one good deed can change the world for the better, though it's a lofty idea, seems to be a little bit unreasonable. How can one person actually change the destiny of the world? So our holy Rabbi once gave a parable and pointed out that today we have missiles and rockets and all kinds of weapons that could do incredible destruction, wreak havoc. And how does one get the rocket to fly? By pressing a button. So if you were to see on a console many buttons, and you were to say, do you know with one button I can destroy tens of millions of people? You say, you got to be kidding. Who are you, crazy? Even if you had a machine gun, even if you had a knife, it would take many lifetimes. No, with one button, you can initiate a sequence that could do untold harm. Obviously, if that's true in the negative, it has to be true in the positive. With one button, with one act, even as insignificant as taking your thumb and pressing it against a piece of plastic, you could accomplish a great deal for the good, or, God forbid, the opposite. The Rebbe took this step, took this thought and extended it. Who has to press that button? Not an adult. Even a child that presses the wrong button that starts the sequence could create this tremendous negativity, or let's talk it in the positive, or this positivity. So even a simple person, a simple Jew, maybe even a child, if he does a mitzvah, does a good deed, does a commandment, does something to bring holiness to this world, as minor as this act can be, or seems to be, the accomplishments are massive. Now, if we take this parable and we go a little deeper, it makes no difference to the adult or the child whether or not they understand how this button they pressed actually changes and creates the sequence. They don't have to understand the complicated circuitry and what this button does All they have to know is press. That's all they know. They're told if they press, something will happen, something great, something awesome will take place, even though they have no idea of why and how it happens. It's just that simple act, and therefore don't do it if it's in the negative, and do it if it's in the positive. The same is true about Torah and mitzvahs. Every single good deed, I use the word good deed, but I should really say every commandment or every connection to God creates a majesty of goodness in all and throughout the cosmos, and it's not as important as we think to actually understand how it's taking place. Now, with this parable, one might think, but at least you have to go to a command center, or you have to have access to this intricate circuitry. But what about me in my own home? And for that, we could add and extend this to the iPhone. It's an amazing concept, the iPhone, or the things very similar to it. And one of the ways we could define it is the world is in your hand. And I don't mean it only in a figurative way, but almost in a literal way. It's in the palm of your hand. And you could connect to anyone. You have access to knowledge that have been accumulated by tens of millions of people over thousands of years. And you have access to every single person on the globe. And it's all in your pocket. And you're holding it in your hand. That's a further demonstration of the power of the individual. As we have been told, and it's actually happening as we talk, with social media, one video, one comment, one picture could actually instigate a revolution. Literally. It could change a policy. Who, me? I didn't do anything. All I did was point and then record and press send. And yes, that actually changes it. Of course, this effect is magnified so many times over when it's passed on. Your picture, your comment was received and someone else passed it on and maybe added something. And here we have the idea of a mitzvah. Your mitzvah can actually affect the world, especially your mitzvah without you even realizing it, might be encouraging a fellow Jew somewhere on the earth, or perhaps even a non-Jew. The fact that you created something of goodness in your personal life allows and encourages other people to increase in goodness in their life. So we're living in, to use a common language word, awesome times, special times, amazing times, revolutionary times, all in the positive. So let's not wait. Let's do that one mitzvah, even though we might think it's insignificant, that one act of kindness, that one act of goodness, that one act of positivity. And let's hope and pray that we see the effect of it in a practical and an effective manner. Shalom.